As well as being good friends with Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, Jimmy Savile, as it has recently been discovered, also had links with the Moors murderers Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. Jailed for life in 1966 for the murders of at least 5 children they had sexually assaulted and tortured prior to ending their lives and burying their bodies on Saddleworth Moors in Yorkshire. Erica Gregory, an independent investigator into the Moors murderers, told Star newspaper reporter Tom Evans,
"I believe they went to the BBC studio regularly to make a fuss, and try to get in with Savile. Alongside David Smith, Brady was selling photographs of children to make money at this time. I believe Savile could have been one of his customers. It is well known that Savile visited them both inside. I believe they were in a ring of some sort."
The elite paedophile ring that Erica Gregory speaks of may explain the VIP treatment given to Myra Hindley in prison, as a good friend of mine told me of how she and other women, serving time at Holloway Prison in 1993, can testify that whilst Hindley's cell was being decorated and refurbished for her comfort at Cookham Woods, she had a short stay at Holloway Prison, where the inmates were warned prior to her arrival that if the prolific child killer was attacked or made subject in any way to the women's contempt of her and the crimes she had committed, they would be severely reprimanded with the threat of an extension to their sentences. But the disgusting extent I have been told the Home Office went to in order to not only look after this evil child killer's welfare, but also to make her as comfortable as possible during her sentence, included allowing her to have personal copies of the torture tapes that she and Brady recorded. The screams and tears of those poor terrified children, I have been told, she took great pleasure in listening to on regular occasions, overheard by other inmates being played in her cell. My friend said, following her encounter with Myra Hindley, that she is of the opinion that whilst the killer claimed to the press to have been led along by Brady, not only does she doubt strongly this claim, but having had the misfortune of encountering this hideous woman for herself, is of the opinion that she was in no need of encouragement and was as much an instigator of the horrific crimes committed as Ian Brady. The Moors murderers and Savile shared a mutual friend in Alex Sanders, who worked with Sharon Tate, the late wife of paedophile Roman Polanski. Sharon Tate is most famous now as the helter-skelter victim murdered by Charles Manson's infamous family as part of a possible Saturnal Satanist sacrifice. Erica Gregory points out that sacrificial ceremonies were conducted as part of Hindley and Brady's murders.
"We have found evidence they were doing rituals on the moors. We've seen knotted ropes, hair and sheep bones with evidence of large fires lit up around oak trees."
The paedophile and Labour Party peer, Lord Longford, who carried out a fact-finding mission on pornography in the 1970s, known as the Longford Report, accompanied by Jimmy Savile and pop star Cliff Richards, gave his support to the Paedophile Information Exchange to remove the age of consent, and is quoted as saying, "Childhood sexual experiences willingly engaged in with an adult result in no identifiable damage." Along with Lord David Astor, former editor of The Observer, and a number of other Labour Party members, loathsome Longford pushed for the release of Myra Hindley, who was officially announced dead by mainstream media in 2002 at the age of 60, following a public outcry that resulted in the mere suggestion of her being released. I would say that what we know about the extensive protective care of child killers by the British Home Office, like the treatment of the unremorseful Jamie Bulger killers, that Hindley was secretly released and treated to a new life, with plastic surgery possibly afforded to hide her original identity. It would certainly be more of a stretch of the imagination to conceive that the British government would ever carry out a genuine investigation into the elite paedophile rings and the crimes of church and state, than the plausibility of there being a cover-up surrounding Myra Hindley's release. Apparently her medical records were filed under the false name of Christine Charlton, added to which, allegedly, no family or friends were at her cremation service or inquest, and sources say that no death certificate has been published. It is most certainly not beyond the possibility that the corrupt corporate establishment gave this evil witch her freedom, and used taxpayers' money to finance her new life and identity, the same as they had done for the killers of poor Jamie Bulger, and on more than one occasion. John Venables, who along with Robert Thompson kidnapped, tortured and murdered 2-year-old James Bulger in 1993 in Bootle, Liverpool, England, when they were aged 10, now enjoys anonymity of his full identity from a public made vulnerable to the atrocities carried out by such sick individuals and the people that protect them. One can easily assume, with everything else we know about these sick elite paedophile rings, that there is possibly a lot more to these two young killers than a random act of violent murder, considering the fact that, despite the common failings to protect children in care homes year after year, decade after decade, the Home Office go to great lengths to protect Venables and Thompson's identities. One has to ask whether or not it is the identities and actions of others involved with these two killers that are more the focus of the British government's protection. Rehabilitation, if that was ever the intent for Venables, a repeat offender, certainly has not worked. In 2013, I was living in Wales when two men were arrested and given 9-month prison sentences for releasing pictures said to reveal the identity of the well-protected and cared for, at public expense, killer. It then emerged that Venables had been living in a neighbouring village to me, with some residents boasting that they had known but said nothing, claiming they were threatened by police that they would be prosecuted if any harm came to the child killer. And in order to protect Venables, who was arrested again and charged with the possession of indecent images of children in 2017, he was moved to another undisclosed area and allegedly given another new identity. The establishment currently claim that he is serving a sentence for the charges following his arrest in 2017. But of course, we only have a corrupt justice system and documented paedophile protecting corporate establishments' word on that. There is a worldwide ban on revealing the Bulger killers' identities, and in a gross miscarriage of justice, another concerned member of the public was handed a suspended prison sentence in 2020 for the crime of attempting to identify the notorious criminal Venables to other law-abiding folk that the corrupt justice system repeatedly fails to protect in their ongoing commitment to cover up the documented criminal activities of church and state. The woman had posted on social media what was claimed to be a picture as well as a name Venables was said to be using, along with the prison where he was allegedly being held. Now I agree that innocent men could be wrongly identified as being one of these criminals, but that is no less the result of perpetual cover-ups and non-disclosure to the public the justice system continually failed to protect. Venables is clearly a disturbed individual, and a full disclosure with a thorough public investigation into both Thompson and Venables' crimes should be presented in a properly convened court de jour, operating under universal natural common sense law and held in open forum so that justice can be seen to be done, with any previously unnamed accomplices or people that have perjured themselves or aided and abetted any of their crimes be named and prosecuted. The same of course should take place with the crimes of Thomas Hamilton, Jimmy Savile, Jonathan King, Gary Glitter, Max Clifford, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, George Soros, Maurice Strong, Bill Gates, etc., etc., etc.